Daylight to all. Father looks at the heart of a soul. The heart of a soul. We don't ever have to worry about what people get away with in this life. We don't have to worry about the hatred that's in the heart of these souls. They're going to get what's coming to them. Vengeance is His. We don't have to worry about not being seen. Having a big heart in a world that doesn't care. We don't have to worry about not receiving any rewards, any love, any care. We don't have to worry because we have a Father that looks in every soul's heart. Judges them by their heart. Doesn't judge the way the world judges. Doesn't reward the way the world rewards. We don't have to worry. We never did, but we no longer have to any longer. What is there to fear when we have a Father that is the Creator, that is the Lord of Lords, King of Kings, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end? We don't have to worry. He has spoken these things before it was even written, before we could bear witness to the testimonies of Him. He has said and proclaimed it, that vengeance is His. That you're His, that He has you in His hand. So that is why it's important to stay close to him. Stay in a place that is low, least, isolated. That's where you find him. That's where no one else wants to be. It is the safest place, really. He says, don't worry. Because you're his. And that he's your father. And the reward that he gives. That he was going to come back in this world for us. That he wasn't going to forsaken us. He said vengeance is his. He will avenge us, renew our spirit. Heal us. He said, don't worry. Just because the world acts like they don't see us. We have a God, a Father that does. He said, don't worry. When your heart hurts you because it's so big, there's another reward. Just for the heart that you have. So much riches where he is, just for the heart that you have. He said, don't worry. The world could say your heart is what makes you weak, but we have a Father and a God that sees it as strength. That no matter where he puts you in the world, no matter what happens, any type of traumatic experience, he knows that he can rely on you because the heart of your soul, you'll be that person to help and save others. You be that person to go back for them while everyone else is thinking about themselves. He can rely on you no matter where he puts you. No matter if you are rich in this world, no matter if you're poor, no matter if you're in the leastest places, no matter if you have nothing, you are the one that gives because of your heart, not because of what you have or don't have, not because of the position that you're in, not because of how you're feeling. No, it's because of your heart. How rich are you really to him when the world doesn't give you any credit or acknowledgement? When the world acts like they can't see you? When they know truthfully they're the ones that will be saved by you if something ever happened? We don't have to watch a movie or see a story about those certain individuals. We know them. We know them. They speak up for us every day of our lives. It doesn't take a actual accident to happen, a certain situation. Every day is a situation. Every day is a traumatic experience for someone, something. And we're here every day praying, testifying, standing up for them. Because even though we can't be face to face with them, we are in spirit. Even though I can't see them in the world, I know of them. I know of the children suffering. So of course, if a God forbid, an accident happened, an isolated accident, and we were all stranded, people were hurt, and we all had decisions to go back and help. Lend a hand. Be selfless. If we knew some children were stranded in the middle of the ocean, and we only had 2 lifeboats, and everyone said it's too risky, we're not going, it would only be those certain individuals that would risk it and go for those children because it's worth it. And it's because of their heart. You can see the heart of a soul already in these people. What's in a person's heart? That's what tells you about them. That's what makes them who they are. Not the color of their skin, not how many women they can get, not how attractive society pretends them to be, not how much money they have accumulated, not the house that they live in, not the opportunities they're given. When have we become so fallen? When have we become so lost? When have we become so lost? That's what makes a person. That's what makes a person. Clearly, if you guys are racist, stereotyping, clearly, if people have become racist, if they own slaves, and we know they have, you don't have to tell me. God already knows. I'm just his daughter. I'm just reflecting on the truth. I don't never go quiet unless there's actual muzzle on me spiritually. But while there isn't, I'm going to speak. And boy, they're not going to like it. Of course they wouldn't. Because it makes people see. It reminds them. That's what makes a person. The surface of them. The things of this world, you see. And I have a big heart. I'm saving children. I'm saving souls. But I don't have nothing that I've accumulated. I don't have wealth. I don't have riches in this world. I can't show you it. I don't have a fancy house. I don't have anything to give you, to show you. But that's what makes a person. when people were slave masters because clearly the color of their skin is what made them. They didn't look in the inside of a person. They didn't care. They didn't care if you were a good person. They didn't care if you were kind. So something's not right if everyone's saying, my heart is pure. We judge from the heart. No, you don't. God does. My Father does. That's the whole point of this. You don't. My Father does. We don't have to worry if we have a Father, if we have a God, but we do have to worry when we're in this world and we're trusting in man. Because to have trusted in man, you have enslaved my ancestors not because of their heart. I'm sure they were filled with spirit. My black men, strong. My black women, filled with heart. No, you weren't judging them the way God judges them. The way that God judges a soul, the heart of a soul. No. He doesn't judge the way the world judges. No. He doesn't reward the way the world rewards. No. But he has told us these things, haven't he? Where's my Bible readers? Where are the quotes? Where are the verses? But let's interpret it. Don't we live in this world? Aren't we witnesses? Let's speak for our people. Let's be who we are supposed to be. Do you know there's people that are colorists? Do you know that? Do you know that there are black people that are colorists? I've came across some few in my life because I don't hang around people that much. But I've come across them. And funny enough, when I came across these few, I can only think of one at this moment. They were my coworker. It was a woman. She was older. She was maybe she's my mother's age. And you know, she was brown skinned. She wasn't light. She wasn't fair. She was brown. And the woman that she was colorist against was a darker skinned woman, an older, darker skinned woman. Do you know what she said to me? She came up to me and she said something about how she was nagging, right? She said something how the patients don't like her. And I said, why? She goes, they just don't. And then she goes in a snarky way, she's black. I said, so? I said, so, right? That was my reaction. I said, so? She goes, yeah, but she's dark. So that's not nice. Another time was a family member. This was someone younger than me. So they were fairly a child. They even had colors. Maybe they got it from someone older than them, maybe their mom, maybe their, who knows, right? Who knows? But this child was light skinned, fair skinned. And she comes to me and she says, "Oh, she gets on my nerve, Oh, I can't stand her. She's so black." At this time, this person had to be no more than no more than 9, 8, maybe even 10. I said, "Don't say that. That's not nice. That's not right." So I can only imagine the stories people have, bear witnessing in the world, in their own families, in their own people, their own, initially in the heart of these souls. Because God's looking at it like everyone's an individual, as He has given me that revelation. Individual, selfish being within themselves, they have a right to, meaning family, mother, brother, sister, auntie, granny, they're still individuals, selfish beings within themselves. They have a right to. They're still going to act as an individual. It doesn't matter the relationship you have with this person, the skin tone. It doesn't matter. Maybe at a certain time it does, when they can remember, oh yeah, we're all the same. Oh yeah, we're family. We're supposed to get along. But we don't, right? We don't, because that's the truth. We don't have to. And if we don't, then we can't make it so. We can't bind ourselves by a title. No. You can with the heart, though. It's in a person's heart. You know why I know that before anything? Because it's not in my heart. I love dark skin. I love the chocolate skin. I adore it. But I love every color. I am a chocolate woman as well. But even still, I don't have to love my skin tone. I don't have to love chocolate skin, because there are people that are chocolate, the color chocolate, all types of browns, blacks, and they don't like their own skin. Just as the same, they don't like other people's brown and black skin. I personally adore it. So it's not, and it has never been in my heart. Never. Never. That's how I know it's not in just everyone's heart. People just feel that. No. Not everyone feels that way. Never. Like, they don't. It's just you. It's just you. And the people that have the same heart as you. I have never felt that way. I even say that if I could choose my color again, I would want the same color. The same color. I would like to be black my whole life, if that's a thing. Right? Or the color brown, or you know, because they've made black into a people, a race. So yeah, I love it. I personally don't mind it. It's not because I'm black, it's because I love it. I love to be this color. The only flaws are the scars, of course, right? The pigmentation. They're called scars for a reason. Discoloration. They're not the actual skin tone. But that's in my heart, right? That's in my heart. That may not be in someone else's heart. So that is how you know the person, the soul. You look in the heart of that person's soul to see and understand who they are. And then why do they feel the way they do? Why do they do the things they do? So for example, again, with darker skin, every time I see a chocolate, I call it chocolate. Every time I see a chocolate baby, I just want to nibble on the skin. I just want to squeeze them. I mean, that's every baby. But to understand why I feel that way is to look into my heart. I adore that color of skin. I didn't say that I adore the person. Hold up, wait a minute, because we ain't showing favoritism just because of the color of the skin. No. You also have to be right. Right? Like, what's in the heart of this person? I'm just saying, as an example, that every color is beautiful, but there are people that are colorless. There are people that are judging you from the surface, the color of your skin, right? Slavery, those slave masters was judging you based off your skin color. And I'm saying that God doesn't judge you from those things. He judges you from the heart. Why would I enslave a people because of their skin tone? Why hate a people because of their skin tone? The darker their skin, the more hate they get. But in my heart, I adore that color. But I also had to mention that even though I am a chocolate skinned woman, it still doesn't, I can still hate my color. I can still hate black skin. So it's still just in the heart of a person's soul to know why they act the way they do. Why do they say the things they say? That's what matters at the end of the day. The heart. Is there hatred in your heart? Well, that explains why you are the way you are. Do you see? So when I'm always thinking like everyone is like me or everyone is the same in a way of their heart, there it is, my answer. Because I always went back and forth. And it wasn't like I didn't believe. It was just hard to believe. But I'm getting the answer again and again, just as I am right now, that they don't have the same heart. They're not all the same, Alize. Because growing up, I used to think like, I thought everyone had a heart. There it is. So I was right. And he's saying, yes, you're right. Everyone does have a heart. But they don't have a heart like you. And that's what I was kind of like not seeing, because I wasn't focusing on, I guess, me. I was just focusing on what I believed the heart was. If you have a heart, you must care. If you have ears, you must hear. Right? Like, I'm thinking basic sense. Like, why are you not standing up? Can't you see what's going on? It's not right. But here's the answer that we're given from our Father. They don't have the same heart as you. And that is what was missing. That's what my heart wasn't able to see or like get past. I couldn't, innocently though. Right? Now I understand. They have a heart. Everyone has a heart. And everyone will be judged by the heart. But the reason why people don't stand when you stand or speak when you speak or care the way you do, that's because they don't have the same heart as you. But you know, I had to hear it from him. Because I guess something was blinding me from like being able to see it that way. Because clearly I wasn't supposed to at that time. Right? I was supposed to just focus on me, not worry about everyone else. But in the back of my mind, as I gotten older, I used to always think everyone is the same, right? They just choose not to. But it was deeper than that, you see. And that's the confirmation. It's the deep part is they don't have the heart that you have. But I'm still right. They don't choose. Some do, but it's deeper than that, because what pushes you, right? You say, oh, you have a choice. Everyone has a choice, but why should it be a choice? You see, why should it be a choice to stand up for what's right? So even that's questionable. Because when you have a heart like, say, me, it's not a question. I'm not, it's not a choice. You don't have to ask me if I'm going to stand up for what's right. My Father does not have to worry about putting me in the leastest places. He doesn't have to worry about giving me any type of armor, any type of reward, any type of accreditation. He knows my heart. That I'm going to stand up for myself. Fear is fear. I don't see the way other people see clearly. But everyone has eyes, right? Everyone has eyes to see. But what I'm seeing is that something seems unfair. And I'm also seeing that the person that is the authoritative figure isn't quote unquote elder, is the adult in the situation, is the head of the house, is the chief of police, is the president, is the mayor, is all these officials. I'm seeing this. But it's not a question on should I stay quiet because of their status, because of their gender, because of the color of their skin, because of their wealth, because of their connections. Growing up, you don't even know about all that. So that tells you again, it's the person's heart. When you stand up as a child, when you're growing up, in your younger years, when you stood up and spoke up, you did it because it was in the heart of your soul, okay? Now that we're older, okay, we see how, okay, these people are influencers. There could be repercussions if I do stand up and speak up. But if I was doing this from the beginning, Who would say that I would stop doing it? Who would say that I would change? You don't ever change, really. You don't ever change. Unless it's God changing you for the better. Unless there's something spiritually going on for a reason. But you don't change. This is my philosophy. I come into this world with a character, an essence. I have lived before. So in those places, I was strong, I was this person. Now I'm here, and I come into this world, and I'm still this person. That's why I try to understand, like, why does not everyone feel the way that I do? Why do they not stand up the way that I do? Why don't they do it? Why? Why? Say something. Do something. Mean it. How can you be so selfish? That's what I mean. I'm taking it back. I didn't understand. And I'm sure someone's gonna at me like, why are you so selfless? Why are you just hard? Like, why are you, right? It's just who you are. It's just who you are when you come into this world for some reason. So I come into this world already who I am. When everyone in this house that I'm raised among don't act the way that I do, actually dislikes me for those things, actually punish me for it, exactly for those things. Every time I stood up, not cursing, not being disrespectful. No, I never was disrespectful to my elders. Never. Ever. But I stood up for myself. Every time. I questioned things. Every time. Because clearly there was unfair treatment going on. It could be the simplest things. Why do they get to go downstairs and I don't? Or I want to watch TV, but she told me I couldn't. Right? We're all kids. So I'm trying to understand what makes them different than me. Why is there partiality? I couldn't understand that because there's nothing to understand. But this is before my understanding. So I at least know basic sense. I got to give myself that credit because clearly I didn't get credit. I got punishment. I got the rap sheet now becoming the black sheep. I became the isolated person, the one that was always in the room and not downstairs celebrating these festivities with the whole family. No, I was becoming this version. Before I knew it, before I knew anything, now I'm just who I am, right? In God. But I didn't know this. I didn't know that people like me were written in the verses. I didn't know God's plan for me. I didn't know the purpose. All I knew was that there was some unfair treatment and I was getting punished for it. And it hurted me, right? I cried. It made me sad. It made me quieter. There was no more joy. I was no longer talkative because there was no one to talk to. I was just left in isolation. Left alone in a house filled with people. You talk about not being seen and known. Well, being misunderstood. Well, there you go. The black sheep, there it is. Behind that door, there lies one. But I didn't know who I was to God. Of course not. Of course not. That was how raw it was. Raw. I was only doing what was in my heart. And yes, as you see, being prosecuted for it, I couldn't stop being me. I couldn't help it. And there's no authoritative figure, no elder that's reassuring you that you're exactly who you need to be, Alize. Don't ever change. But instead, I was changing before I knew it, because it was something happening internally. It was something happening psychologically. It was something happening spiritually because of trauma, day after day, day after day, day after day, years upon years, and in isolation as a child. Being excluded from holidays and birthdays, never celebrating it, not being able to contact and communicate with your family, your granny, out of all people, the woman that raised you since you were a child. What would that do to you? I don't know, because I'm just a child. I don't know. I'm just enduring this prosecution. I'm just in prison, clearly. Just for the simplest things, not because I cursed or because I disrespected my elders or because I was stealing things, or I couldn't go outside. I didn't go outside. I didn't have friends. I didn't have after school program. No, I went straight home and into the room. Didn't date, didn't have a phone, didn't have any of those things. So was I really bad? But still was labeled as the black sheep. Still was treated so harshly. Never given understanding, never given mercy, never given grace. Just for some reason, it's just me for some reason. That's how it was when you did not know anything. That something's not right here. And I'm just not going to run away because I ain't a fool. I don't have nowhere to go. But it sucked so hard. But I got stronger, right? Every day you're in a room, every day you're enduring it. Every day you see you can. Every day you see you can, it becomes normal in a way. It's still embarrassing, it's still insulting when people come over and they're whispering like, "Oh, she's always in the room, she's always on punishment." Yeah, that's embarrassing. Or try to hide and, try to hide yourself under the covers if someone comes in a room to grab something, or you're fake sleeping because it's daylight and you're in the room. You're still in bed because you have to be. But was I crying the way I was when it first happened? No. Nope. Did I cry when the seventh year Christmas rolled around and I was upstairs and everyone was downstairs receiving their gifts? No. My heart was still full. My heart was still hopeful. My heart was still optimistic. If my elder ever approached me through those years, I said I respected her still. Yes. Yes, My heart never changed, but my spirit did. My spirit, as I say now, was crushed. But in real time, there was no joy. I was now like insecure. I wasn't comfortable around the people that I'm born in, the family that I'm born into. I don't feel like I belong, so I don't have anything to say. No one says anything to me. So when you enter a room filled with so-called family, of course they're gonna look at you surprised. Of course they're gonna just not say anything to you. I can say that now, but when your heart is still optimistic and hopeful, you're in these places still thinking and believing that, well, I'm older now and now I'm free, right? I'm out the room. Now these people can actually get to know me. But instead, you sit there and you see how for 7 hours, no one comes up to you and says anything. I wasn't looking at it with my mind. I wasn't looking at it through God's eyes. I was looking at it from my heart. My heart was blinding me. Because if I looked at it from my mind and my sense, right? My knowing. If I led by my knowing, I would have known that these same people are the same people that were there when you were 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, that knew you were in the room, knew you were always punished. But now that you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and they see you now, what did you think was going to happen? Who knows all the things they may have heard or thought? Who knows? They don't know you. They knew of you. Just like anyone could have intervened, maybe. Not saying they had to, but they didn't. So these are the same people that knew what was going on, seen it. Who knows if they questioned it, but nothing ever happened. So it is probably weird to them. But to me, leading with my heart, I just want to be free, right? I just want to be. I'm not thinking about what they didn't do or what they did do. I'm thinking like, okay, I'm free. And I still want to be part of this family. You know, I've been invited, supposedly. Maybe not from everyone, but someone invited me. And I'm here and I bring gifts, you know, because I'm giving. I'm there. And then I'm just like, you know, you realize you're getting sad. You realize that, okay, why am I feeling this feeling that I felt when I was younger? Why every time I'm around these people I gotta feel this way? Because I don't want to. That's the thing. I don't want to feel like I don't belong when I'm trying to. This was the beginning. This was before all of this. I tried. As I got older, I was still trying. So innocently, with my heart, the soul of a person's heart. That's how you know who they are. That's why I tell that story and I say that last time when I came home, at this age was around 22, 23, no, 23, 24. I came home and I burst out in tears. And I came to my closet mirror and I say, Father, what you have given me to be me is hurting me, my heart. And after that, he set me free from it. But that is to give you a personal example of what I mean. That my heart is what saved me and saved these people from wrath. From wrath. Because if I went with knowing, if I led by my mind, these people didn't deserve me or my energy. Someone would have told me, like I've heard this before. I heard it from my brother. Why do you keep going there if you feel that way? That shows your heart. So that's why I mean I knew it. I knew that that's what it was, but I couldn't change it. I couldn't change how I felt. And so I had enough because my spirit confessed. And he heard me. And ever since then, I continued forward and never looked back. I never went back. to those people. As you see, I didn't choose to walk away. I did not. My Father said, walk with me. And I followed him. I just went forward. And I'm sure he was clapping his hands. But you see, this is not knowing it and now understanding it. It's so clear as day to see everything now, but before it was raw. I was literally that way because that's just how I am. Not because they deserved it, because they didn't. Just like the world doesn't deserve someone with your heart. But you're just here. And instead of someone telling you that the world doesn't deserve you, or instead of you naturally feeling that way, you just are going to be you. With the heart that you have, you're just going to care. Because that's what's going to save the world. And it's also going to blind you. You're going to lead with your heart. And that's when the time comes, whenever it is, and whenever your spirit is fed up with it, it's going to take a while. You're going to put in that work, right? You're going to put in that energy first. You're going to try and give these people chances and chances before you even know it was chances that you were giving them. You know, ain't nobody was saying, oh, strike 3. No, I as time was nearing to that revelation, I knew I was getting tired, right? I knew I was getting tired of feeling that way. And I knew what I had to do. I knew that I had to stop going. Like, just, you know what, next time I'm invited, just say no, Allie. Just say no. It's okay. But my heart, I didn't like that. I didn't like to know that I had to do that. But I also knew that I didn't want to feel that way. And that's why it's easy for someone to say, just stop going. Stop. Just stop. And I remember saying in those days, but why does it have to be this way? It shouldn't have to be this way. You understand what I'm saying? That I shouldn't have to make this decision. And God was saying, well, I'm going to make it for you then. Because well done, daughter, you have done it. You have tried and tried and tried, and you have given them the energy and the time. I am proud of you. So I will make the decision for you. But all I knew in that moment was that I was just getting fed up. But I didn't say anything. Because I didn't even know it was going to be the last time. Just like they didn't know that was going to be the last time that they were going to see me. I just knew that last time I came home after sitting in that seat for like 6 or 7 hours. It was someone's baby shower. And I'm not expecting anyone to be all up in my face. No, but if I'm there for 7 hours, my goodness, this is not the first time. This is every time. There's nothing. There's nothing. And on top of it being nothing physically, I feel it spiritually. I felt it when I walked in and everyone got quiet. And no one said hi to me or hello. Only one person. Only one person that usually does, which is my cousin, which is my male cousin. He has always acknowledged me, but so I sensed it, you know, the energy. But knowing me, even though I felt it in my spirit, my spirit felt nervous. It did. Because I was walking into a place where I knew people did not like me, or people that did not know me but heard things about me. Just all those things, you know, just all those things. And it sucked, but I tried to just deal with it because I wanted people, it's not even that I wanted people to see me. For me, it was just more the natural things. Like, I'm here and I want to be. So why can't things be different? Why can't the energy change? Why is it still this way? That's what hurt me. So I come home and I let it out because it clearly was internalized. And the moment I stepped foot in my house, I just cried. Mind you, these people have never raised me. Understanding this was the age of 22, 23, right? I was already in my own apartment by 19. Understand the timeline. That 19 and below, well, I don't want to say 19 and below. Let's say 17 and below, all I've gotten from these quote unquote family members was isolation. Was no type of love or mercy or understanding. All the way up until I was 16, from 10 to 16, all I had was punishment. And the few times that I got the chance to be quote unquote saved for a few months or a year was a big difference. It made a big difference in my life. So understanding that is to see that these are the same people. The same people. To see that in God's eyes, they never, truly never deserved me. I'm sure they're probably shocked that, I even held on as long as I did. I don't know. I didn't think that way. I did not think that way. Because even though in my heart I believed there was a God, I didn't have the relationship that I have with him now. Because this was the beginning. This was the raw part of it. This was me leading up to him. So I did what I was supposed to do. I relied on and trusted in these people. I looked to them. I believed them. I hoped in them. Even though obviously they didn't deserve it, but I can't keep saying they didn't deserve it if I didn't feel that way. I hoped in them. So I did in my heart feel like they deserved it because my heart was never cold. I never had hatred in my heart. I was still willing. But every time I get this feeling, every time it doesn't change. And someone from the outside looking in, like someone literally in the window looking in, like, she don't see what I see, she don't get it. I know she's not, I know she feels it. I sense it, right? I sense it. But yeah, I guess so. I didn't want to see it because I didn't want to make that decision. I didn't want to walk away. No one wants to walk away from their quote unquote people they have in their life or family. See, what makes it kind of different with me is that even though I had these people in my life or quote unquote family, they weren't family to me. So someone looking through the window would have been like, why don't she just leave? Like, why? What's holding her there? There's nothing holding her there. These people don't even want her. They never chose her growing up. And now that she's an adult, she still chooses to be a part of their festivities whenever she's invited, right? Because I don't bother nobody. I don't ask. I never ask anything of anybody. Don't need anything from anybody. But if someone's like, oh, hey, Allie, so-and-so's having a birthday. Do you want to come? So-and-so's having a gathering for Thanksgiving. You want to come? And it's usually just that one person, right? That one person that may have saved me 1 year when I was growing up. That one person that I drew close to. I mean, how close can I draw to a person if now I'm not who I am anymore, right? So then that relationship doesn't ever grow. And, you know, but, you know, that's, that shows my heart. That shows the wound, how deep it is. Because how did I get this strength? I always had it. It's so easy for me to understand everything now. But I'm trying to like leave the things that I know now out and go back to that part where it was just raw. I just was always strong. But now that I understand fully, I come into this world with my strength, what he's given me. Right? I used it. That's all I had, though. That's all I had. I didn't have a mother. I didn't have a father. I didn't have family that was choosing me. Like, oh, I'll take her in. I'll choose her. I'll choose all three of her. All three of them. Because it's me and my two siblings. No, instead, I'll choose them two. I'll just choose her sister and her brother. I don't choose her, though. So thank God I had strength. Thank God that I was strong enough to use it, because dang Skippy, I was going to need it. You see, before all of this, of what God says strength is and integrity, and I was just using it even though everything was set out against me. Everything was set out against me to weaken me, because it broke my heart. And it crushed my spirit, because I was never the same. Of course I wouldn't be. I don't have to go to psychologists or a therapist to understand why I was acting this way, or why was I self-isolating, or why was I now inside of my mind? I was just always thinking and quiet. Why did I walk around and not say anything? Was it because I was rude or unappreciative? No, but that's how people took it. And that was kind of cold. That broke my heart too. I had to use my strength in that as well. I had to use my integrity in that as well. Because now I'm not wanted because of what has happened to me. Because of how I'm taking it. Because of how I'm trying to deal with it. I'm still never enough. I'm still not enough. And it's so heavy, you see. Before I know anything, before I knew what it meant to carry your own cross, to drink the cup and it be sweet, but it's sour to see what you're going to go through. I'm like, yo, this is heavy. Because it's like the misunderstanding, like the tarnishing of your name, the tarnishing of your reputation, how people look at you, how people think about you, how people treat you, how you're not chosen. It's just like, what did I ever do? You just come into this world and it's just you're hated. But see, my mind keeps going back to the verses because now I know that's written. But I did not know. I'm just like, I wasn't surprised that certain people weren't choosing me. That's what I understood at that time. Like, oh, well, I'm not surprised that my actual aunt chose my brother and sister at the age of when I was 16. My brother was 15 and my sister was 18. I wasn't surprised because when I was younger, living with my grandma, she never chose to, how can I say this? It was evident that she wasn't fond of me, you know? And I was still me, right? Very me, very outspoken. You know, a lot of people don't like that. it causes friction, you know. Like instances, like for example, when I was younger, so like 10, 9, 8, when I was living with my granny, and it was just like all I knew was my granny and my aunt, you know, and my uncle, that sort of thing. I remember be times where, you know, just the littlest things. You want the window seat, right? The car seat. And then it's her kids that want it. And then you're playing this game like shotgun. And even if you said shotgun first, it's still the fact that it's her kids, but I'm not looking at it like that. I'm thinking like fear is fear. Like, no, you had the seat, you had the window seat, go, you know, heading out, but now we're going back home. So why shouldn't I be able to, right? Like, this is how my logical mind is thinking as a younger child, 10, 9, 8. But I'm sure all my honest seeing is like, you always start in trouble, right? You're always arguing, your mouth. So I would always kind of scolded at in a way to where even in those younger years, I was isolated, right? Times where I go to her house, right, over the weekends with my siblings, and she has 2 kids. She has a daughter and a son. And I would want to go upstairs with my brother and my cousin to play the game. And so then me and my brother would be fighting because it's like, it's my turn to play. You were already playing, like it's my turn to play. You know, me being me. And of course, all my aunt sees is, why are you bothering them? Why? And all I understand is, I'm just trying to fit in. Like, I'm just trying to have a turn. I'm just trying to be part of something, you know. But all I get is scolding. Go downstairs, you know. Okay. Okay, you know. And so it leads me to a place where I'm alone, right? I remember I would go all the way downstairs because she had 3 floors. So the boys were on the 3rd floor. Then it was the 2nd floor, which was the 2 bedrooms, and then downstairs was the kitchen and living room. So my sister was able to be on the computer in her room because she was the oldest, and then her younger child, her daughter, you know, she was very quiet to herself, things like that, like Barbies and stuff. But you know, she was doing her own thing. So I would just go downstairs, all the way downstairs. And I remember one time I laid on the floor and she had a radio. She had a radio on the floor, and I would like turn the radio up a little bit to where my ear could hear it, and I would lay there. So this happened before, you know, it happened in the beginning. It happened before I even became a teenager, before I was taken, you know, before unfortunately my granny got sick and I started living with my cousins. So I wasn't surprised when at 16, the cousin that, you know, took all 3 of us, wanted her time for herself now. And so my aunt at that time chose to take my siblings. And that's what led me to be separated from them. And I went to Buffalo for a year. And then I came back to Georgia at 17, going on 18. Because I came back, that I was supposed to come back to Georgia in November, but I came back right before Christmas, and my birthday was in May, so I was turning 18. But that's my point, that, you know, I wasn't surprised. And I think that's what helped me to not be angry about not being chosen in the world. It's like I understood why. Like, even at a young age, before I knew verses to understand that sort of understanding, that mature meat, that spiritual maturity, I was already understanding, just because of how I was treated and how I felt when I was around certain people, that that when she didn't choose me, it's like, I understand, because she probably doesn't think I get along with her children and this and that. And so it was like, oh, okay. I wasn't angry. So, I just was like, I just never get a break, do I? Before I knew this mature me, I still knew basicness. And even when I went to Buffalo, it was the same thing. It was different people, but the same spirit. And obviously, because I was that spirit, it was like following me. It was following me. That's all I knew. And here's another situation where, I'm very quiet now. Now I'm 16, you see, so the trauma is there. Some people could call it depression. I don't really like that word, but because I was functional. I guess I was a functional depression. No. But I was still a child, so I don't like to call it depression. It was spiritual. It was. I just don't like to call it depression because I can describe what it is. I know what it is, instead of just saying, oh, depression. No, that's just a bandage. Like, I was so isolated every day since I was 10, and even before that. The only difference from 10 and okay, so the only difference when I was younger, before I was taken and living with my cousin, was my granny. She was the only thing that made it different. I still was receiving the scolding and the isolation with my aunt when I was a child growing up, but I at least still had my grandmother to know what love is. She loved me. And I even got picked on because they would always tease me about how I was mommy's favorite. But really, that wasn't the case. I just loved her, and she loved me, right? She didn't treat me any different. She just seen me for who I was, apparently. But anyway, so that was the only thing that made it different. But to say that my whole life it started in the beginning, it did. But it didn't really take off until I went with my cousins, right? And my granny got sick, and she could no longer take care of us. And so, of course, you would ask, well, why didn't my aunt take us at that time? Well, she didn't have enough space, right? That's her business. So we ended up going with our cousins. I was 10, my brother was 9, my sister was 12. So we ended up going with our cousins, right? And that's when it really took off. Instantly, that's where the isolation started. Like, truly. Punishment every day, all the way until I was 14, and I was taken by her daughter. Every time her daughter would come, I don't know, it was something there. It was like she seen me, I seen her. I never told her anything. I didn't have to, right? It's obvious when everyone comes to this certain home to celebrate things, right? The home that I'm now in, it's the home where most of the family comes to celebrate things. So she, out of everyone, she was the one that clearly stood up, right? Said something, seen me, and she would have that power and authority to get me out. I don't know what she'd say, but she just probably, I don't even think she said anything. She just was like, come downstairs. When she came over, I I was happy. I loved her. And I always respected her. So that dynamic was a respect thing. That's how I seen that person. And we're actually 10 years apart. But yeah, so at 14, I was able to go with her for a good amount of time. I want to say at least a year. 14, 15. Yeah, let's say a year. And then, unfortunately, around 15, my guardian, her mother, wanted to go back to Connecticut. And so since she still had guardianship, or at least partial guardianship, because my granny had guardianship, I had to go with her. So me and my brother go, because my brother stayed with her. At this time, my sister's 18, so she's back in Connecticut already with my aunt. So she was already with my aunt. And my brother was still with her, and then I was taken by her daughter for a year. And then now that she wants to go back to Connecticut, I have to go. And, I'm sad, but boom, that happens. And then within that year, she figures out she wants to live her life without any more, any more of this, any more kids, because all her kids are older and stuff like that. So it's just me and my brother there with her husband at the time. So she comes and she says, I'm getting older and I kind of just want my house to myself. I understand. And so she contacted my aunt, and my aunt said that she would take my brother. Mind you, my sister was already there a year prior. And so she said, I'm still trying to find where you're going to go. So that's how I ended up in Buffalo with people I didn't know. They were my family. They have the same last name as me, but they're strangers. So that's how that went. So I go there. I'm 16. And I go to military school. I go to Maritime. And I have my 17th birthday there as well. And so we'll stop there. We'll pause here. And so all of this trauma did change my spirit because it's crushed. I remember being there. They were receiving benefits, right? Food stamps and all that. And I remember that time, traumatic. I will just say that I was just really sad, right? I was sad before I knew them. So I was coming there in the state that I was in. And they as well took it left. They took it as being unappreciative. They took it as being rude. And, they took it how they wanted to take it. They were just very harsh and merciless. Like, and I had to see that. I had to see that. Because there's the misunderstanding again. And all you're left with is just that here's another sort of people that don't like me, is looking at me in a certain way when that's not even me, right? But they don't want to understand. They don't care because they're not asking what's wrong or why. They're expecting you to just like switch it off or just be better, be regular, be happy. I don't know, but I can't. I'm really to myself. I'm just the opposite of who I am, and they don't even, them being strangers, they don't even know my real personality, so they don't have anything to compare it to. But I'm sure they're just thinking like, we took this girl in and all she does is just sit on the couch and not say anything, right? For the most part, not bothering anyone. It's just I'm very sad. Like, I'm just sad. And yeah, they just was very harsh to me. They threatened me and things like that just because there was lack of communication. Like if the door shut hard in the morning, it would be a threat. You know, you slam this door, watch when you get home, I'm gonna slam you. Mind you, prior to that, we didn't really have anything to say to each other. So the first thing you say is those things. So there was some sort of animosity building up. Oh, sorry. The people that I was living with, it was a daughter and mother duo. So, yeah, there was some animosity that was building up, obviously, from me not really communicating the way that they would have wanted me to. But of course, if they asked me a question, I would answer. It's not like, oh, I just didn't talk. I did, right? I opened up, but for the most part, I couldn't be comfortable. You know, I just stayed to myself. And that energy and that spirit stayed with me all the way until when I came back to Georgia that December, it was the same energy and it was the same spirit. They were like, taking it as disrespect. Now I'm hearing people are talking behind my back, and people that I never thought that would betray me in that way, or understood at least, something. Of course, they don't know everything. They don't know everything. But, that one person that you trusted, that saved you, that you loved, that thought seen you, it's just disappointing when they go against you, And of course, down the line, they've apologized, but and of course, knowing in my heart, it's okay. Like, it's all right. I don't hate, I don't blame no one, but it still happened, right? And I still had to bear witness to it, and it hurt me. It really hurt me to where it got me to this point, right? It's really brought me to God, but it just, without God, it was just devastating. Now with God, it's a blessing. Like, I'm glad they did it. They were doing what they were supposed to do, blah, 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 blah. You see, I talk like that now because now I understand what it was all for. But when you don't know and you don't understand, it's just like, something's not right. Like, why am I the enemy in this world? Why is my life like this? Like, and you're still very young, so you don't really know what to think other than how you feel, and it's horrible. It's like, of course you don't feel like harming anything or harming yourself. It's not that. It's just such is life. Like, dang, I'm just hated. Like, I'm just misunderstood, and I'm like, am I the devil? Am I the bad guy? It's just, wow. Just taken back, because it's just like, I can see how, if there was no God for me, what hope would there be for me? What hope would there be when everyone that I thought that was for me was against me? Like, I can't even say that because I don't like that way of saying it. But just that he says it correctly. The people that you have given me over to are my adversaries. The same people that are my family. They don't choose me. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. But this is the family that I'm in. This is the family that I'm in. This is the card that I'm dealt. Because of who I am. And that's why I'm just like, okay, well, I'll be the bad guy, right? Like, in the back of your mind, it's like, you start becoming the version. Like, the environment, right? Like, I'm in this isolated environment. Okay, I self-isolate now. I naturally do it. Just like you start getting angry. Okay, you walk around kind of like, not angry, but you definitely got some pride about it. Like, you definitely like, I ain't about to talk to this person. You know what I mean? I know this person's talking about me. Okay, I don't no longer respect this person, but I'm in this person's house, right? It's like, you kind of do walk around angry. It's just that you're not quote unquote, let's say, acting on it. Like, I'm not over here disrespecting anyone. I'm not over here, doing things I shouldn't do. It's just more of spiritual. Like, you're going to feel it, right? I'm not going to speak to you. You're not going to speak to me. We're not speaking in the same house. So, of course, they're not going to like that. They're going to want to get rid of you. And that's what happened. It's not like, oh, I was doing things. No. I was angry, and I was also stuck in this version, this trauma in my mind, this state of just being crushed in spirit and not feeling belonged, and just all of those things that I kept to myself. And yeah, so I'm trying to leave out all the things of the Bible because this is before I knew it. And I could see, like, what hope would there be for me? Because who was there? Like, who do I have in the world? Right? And this is my family. I haven't even gone into the world yet. You see what I mean? Like, this is all my childhood up until I move out at 19. It's like, I can only imagine if there was no God for me, what I would have became, or where I would have gone, or what could have happened to me. You can see it. You can see my future in so many different ways. Like, it would be predictable. It would be so predictable, because to not have gotten any love in that other than my granny, okay? Because I held on to that love. That's the only love I have in my heart. That's the only love that I received in my heart. And then, of course, that one person that saved me, and did her thing for that little time. But generally, you start to realize that's why people go into the world. They search into the world. They search for what they never had, what they deserve. I understand. Trust me. And that is why, nothing surprises me. I have understanding. Yes, I didn't turn that direction. Yes, I didn't become that type of girl. I didn't become that type of woman. That's true. I am a sinner. I've done regular things, but I've not turned that way. I don't choose to be that sort of girl. And but the street's calling, right? The devil got his hand out like, look, honey, I'm here. I can give you all that you need, all that you deserve, and you deserve everything. Right? I'm sure it's predictable. But there was something inside of me that kept me humbled, kept me me. And that's what I mean. There's already a foundation in me. There was already morals. There was already a sense of, like, who I am coming into this world. That's why I know for a fact that you come into this world who you are. You're already a soul already. And then you're a soul put into a body. Yes, I had to be a baby and grow into an adult, but I'm a soul of a baby. The same soul is just in different stages of the human body, the natural body. I was a baby, then I was a teenager, an adult. You grow, but the soul, does the soul ever change? Does the heart of the soul ever change? That's what I'm saying. So that's what saved me, because, again, if the streets is calling and there's opportunities in the world, why don't I go? Why don't I go? Because I have a sense of conviction. I have a sense of discernment. I have morals. I have boundaries. I have a sense of self still. Even though I know I deserve everything, even though I didn't have a father figure, you know what I'm saying? There was already something in me that had strength. I didn't need to know a strength of a man to have strength, or an integrity of a woman to have integrity. I already had those things for some reason, very strongly. And that's the same things of why I was hated or not liked, because I had a mouth on me, right? I always said something. So the streets wouldn't like me anyway. The streets wouldn't want me neither. I was understanding that just from the little people or the little men that I met along the way. That dang, okay, so it ain't just my family. Like, you know, it's just people. You know, it's just people. It's the world, right? They don't sort of like the person that I am. They don't like the sort of soul, spirit. They don't like the truth. They don't like who I am. They might like my body. They could use my body. They might have gotten my body. But they don't like my soul. They don't want to get to know me. So then I'm just like, okay, well, I can't keep giving my body or allowing access to me because I'm not that type of chick. But I've at least experienced it to know, okay, this is what's out here. Okay, well, I'm not missing nothing. Okay, I understand what sex is. I understand what this is. And then that's when I made that vow, because it was just like, it was either I was going to keep going down this road of meeting individuals that really don't deserve me, that I don't know their intentions, and everything in that is just not the right way of doing things. Or I can make a vow, and because I know that I'm better than this, and that, you know, because this is before the Bible anyway. This is before all of that. I'm doing this because inside of me, I knew that I didn't want to continue on. So it only took a few years for me to realize, okay, I met a few people on these apps, and it ain't going right. Like, I don't like it, you know. I don't like the way that things are going, and I don't want to continue living like that or being like that. Like, there has to be more than this. It shouldn't be, oh, you meet someone and they want to have intercourse with you, or they're, you know, they take you out and then they want something after, and it's that repeating. It's like, no, there has to be more than this. That ain't what I signed on for anyway. Like, who signs on for that, really? You expect at least decency. You expect like something more, like friendship, but you can get sucked into that because it's just like, whatever, well, I'll use you, you use me. I'll get whatever I can get from you, you can get whatever. And it's just like, but that's not me neither. Right? I can do it. I can blend in, understandably, right? Because you don't want anyone dealing with you for just and not doing nothing for you. So I can understand that. But my sense kicked in, and it's just like, but I am a single woman. This is not me just dealing with one person and we taking care of each other. That's not the situation. So yeah, no, this is not what I'm going to be doing. So I made the vow. And that was that. That was all that it was. And so it led me here, right? Once I made the vow, everything just started falling away. I no longer needed social media, none of that. Clearly, I didn't need it for no one because I didn't have any relations with anyone ever other than my siblings, and they didn't need my social media. They just have my number. They will have my number, right? And it's only 2 of them. That's it. That's all the family I have, right? Because my uncle never chose to embrace me. My grandmother has been resting since I was 17. She's been resting, right? So my mother never been in my life. Well, she is, but she wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Living her life. So all I need is my siblings to have my number, and they can contact me if they need me or they want me or whatever the case may be. Other than that, there's no one else. Everyone has showed their allegiance. And now God has kind of set me free from my heart. So I'm definitely not going back to those things. I'm past that. I'm moving forward. So then I realized the fear was gone. This was the age of 24 in October. What was that? 20, was it 28? Shoot. Was it 2018? It was right before COVID, so it could have been, yeah, so it was the so I made the vow in July of that year. And then in October, the fear was gone. I realized, something that would have brought me fear hadn't. And then ever since then, it never came back. Then of course COVID happened shortly after. COVID was for a good 6 years or whatever. And then we're here. And within that time span, right, I was testifying, doing my little projects, as I like to call them, uploading it to YouTube. But I was like testifying. I was spewing out this understanding, this knowledge. I was coming to the realization and the revelations of who I am and who I've always been. And knowing who I've always been, knowing that my eyes was always open, I just needed the confirmation because I was alone all this time. Just trying. That was the raw part of it. I was just trying. Just like I made the vow off of my decision. It wasn't nothing that God, verses. I wasn't into the verses yet. I was like, yeah, this ain't it. Like, I'm not even that type of girl. I can be that type of girl, but I don't want to be that type of girl. I have given my body enough to people that, let's just say strangers. That should tell you enough. Like, good for them. So that's what I mean. It's just like, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't how I'm living my life. And that's not who I am. I'm not about to play that game. Or continue playing that game. So yeah, I made a vow. And then, so I was just focusing on me, focus on my spirituality. And that's how all these projects started to come about. And then obviously 2 months ago or a month ago, I started this live where you can actually get the raw in the live part of it. But yeah, that is pretty much all of it in a more simplified way, right? Because there was day after day after day and things within those days that transpired, right? But that would take a bit longer. Those things are in my actual books in heaven. The things that are on record that I don't have to necessarily record or remember. The everyday things, like how I was in the room every day, every year, for years. I can't necessarily remember every day and like what was I doing that Tuesday. Well, I knew I was in the bed. I knew I was journaling until that was found and taken from me. Saying like, I hate this and they're not being nice to me. And I remember it was one time I did get like I had a journal or something. You always get caught with those things. But yeah, yeah, so that's how my tribulation has been for the most part. And none of these things, I call isolation a familiar thing. It's a friend because I've always been here. I'm just older. Just the same as when I now decide willingly not to celebrate pagan holidays. That's because I was excluded from them. but also because I also realize why they're pagan holidays. So I can see God in that. Like, you don't need to be celebrating those things. Now you see, I didn't want you, He set you apart for a reason. So to not celebrate these things now, I don't have FOMO. I don't have fear of missing out. No, I don't want to, and I don't need to. And I also just feel like if you're gonna celebrate someone or celebrate me every day. The only celebration is really like a New Year's thing or a birthday. But really, life is to be celebrated every day. And when you look at it that way, you start to realize what is the sense of celebrating a certain day, just one day a year. That's just all control. That's all control and mockery and symbolic of what they're doing, because some of these holidays on these certain days, something actually did happen. It was tragic. It wasn't all celebrating happy, you know? So, again, how to know a person is to know their heart. And I say I'm back to me. I've been back to me for a while now, but that's why I say that. Because my spirit was crushed and there was a muzzle on me spiritually, because I was so down. I was so least. In the environment that you're in, when you're around people that betraying you, it's like, who can you open up to? Who can you speak to? Who can you go to? You're in this darkness. You're gonna feel it. It's gonna weigh you down. All you want to do is just be in a place where you feel safe. And safe is just right in that isolated room. You go right back to it. He's trained me well. So, isolation saved me, but it also was my and it's become my friend. But shoot, it is also sort of a prison, but it's also a sanctuary. Ultimately, it's where God is, It's where I am. It's where you'd find me. There it is. I hear you, Father. And when I said that, I was really saying me, but then I understood, like, that's also where you find my Father. Because that's the thing, like, where are you going to find me? Now and before. I'm gonna be in this room. I'm gonna be in this place alone. But it's also where I found him. It's also where I've become. I was raised in isolation. And I have risen to become this. So that takes away all statistics, right? It takes away from what people think. Is the best environment for a person to blossom. And it's like, well, this person here blossom from the leastest places. But because I have a God, I have a Father that loves me and has a purpose for me. And he says vengeance is his. He says vengeance is his. I have no hate for anybody. I never did. They did their job. But they know what they've done. Just because I don't hate them doesn't take away from what they've done. Right? They hate the truth that's in me. I stood for truth. I stood for me. What was I doing in the end? Standing with God, being God's child, working for God's house before I knew it. So reading these verses now is a confirmation, a reassurance, and a revelation, as I always say. You'll know a chosen one. They don't have to prove anything to you. You'll know the truth when you hear it. So that's why you don't have to worry. I don't have to worry. I don't have to overthink. I'm very secure. I have security in my Father. He says, peace is in me. Security. You know, when the world says peace and security, no. Soon destruction will come. But peace and security in Father, to understand what he means. You can see the peace and security because I have a Father. Because vengeance is his. I don't have to worry. Do I get rewards? Do I get credit? Have I ever? I got the total opposite, right? I became the devil. I became the bad guy. I became least, while the actual devil became what? Higher than me. But is he really? That's what I'm saying. Can you see? Can you break the glass? Can you see who truly is a real priest? Who truly really is godly? Who truly is really chosen? Who we truly are? Do you truly see us? Do you truly know us? Because Jesus said on the cross, forgive them, Father, for they don't know, they can't see. But now do you see, now that the truth is free? The prophecy is fulfilling itself, and that's one of the last things. The truth will be set free, and the truth will set you free. And I'll leave it there.